We've got a short week ahead of us. We've got non-farm payrolls on Friday, and we are still following the narrative from Jackson Hole. So let's look ahead at markets for the week of September 1st, 2024. Hey, I'm Josh. I'm the founder of TRADEWITHPROFILE. We're a skill development firm. So we help traders that want to be active intraday futures traders figure out how to build a playbook and become consistently profitable. And part of that journey is having a process of building plans and narratives that then we look to express playbook trades. So let's look at what is potential for the week ahead and where the opportunities are in the. This is my favorite time of the year. So fall trading is absolutely my favorite of the year. It's typically more volatile, lots of opportunities, a great place to express some ideas. So let's jump into it, shall we? So we're going to actually start by looking at the calendar here real quick. So let me jump over to our calendar, and you can just kind of see what's ahead of us. We do have a holiday that we're coming off of. So Monday, there was a little bit of Globex trade, but really we're keying off of Friday's prices. So Tuesday is our Monday. We do have some releases right after the open and at B period or 10 a.m. A cluster of releases. So typically on Mondays, we look to not be active until after the first half hour. I think that's a good call today too, given the fact that you've got some releases. Then on Wednesday, we've got some minor releases before the morning. Again, something at B period. Fed's beige book, may make some movement. And then Thursday, jobless claims. Again, a cluster of economic releases at that 9:45, 10 a.m. area. And then Friday, we have non-farm payrolls. So it looks like non-farm payrolls. And then we also have two Fed speakers before 1 p.m. Eastern. So that's something to be mindful of. We're past all the key earnings. So these are the things ahead of us. Other things that are on the calendar out there coming up. I'm just looking at the options expiration calendar. And you can see here in September. So we've got this week, and then we've got next week, and then we have OPEX. We have triple witching coming up. A couple things to earmark and watch for as we approach that area is I think this beginning on the 16th is the end of a corporate buyback period. Watch for volatility to increase after we get past the 16th, and looking for that all the way through October into election Tuesday. Okay, so we're through the things to kind of prop us up. Now, next week is typically could be in the cycle a little bit bullish. This week, less so. And that's largely just what's going on with the options calendars and so forth. So let's dive into each of the four products and get everybody going for the week. Okay, so we're gonna start with the ES. We're gonna look here at the monthly chart and just get a reminder of where we are because we are into a new month. In fact, I want to look at it. Let's look at it this way. Okay, so let's look at the monthly profile. So how was August relative? August actually had quite a bit of width to it. We did not make a new high. We made a new low, went in and tested this balance area and bounced out, closed up here. So that's given us, and these are volume points of control. So think of this zone as kind of the key zone that we have from like 55.50 to 56.50 to watch as we begin the new month. Okay. Here's what that looks like on a volume profile standpoint. We're very close to all-time highs. Looking at, if we look here at the VIX curve and the SPY, you can see we're almost to those all-time highs. We are complacent in the curve. And as expected, coming out of summer, likely to get new all-time highs maybe this week or next week before we start to see the rollover. But all that being said, we still have to defend this 556 area. Break below that, and that opens the door. There's no guarantee that we're getting new all-time highs. Okay, just that it seems to be where everyone's looking for. And as long as we hold above 560, that is the path of least resistance, right? But if we get below 556, then that will likely bring in the hedging, which will accelerate us to the downside. I think we're going to break down there anyway, whether that's this week or in coming weeks or after that September 14th window. One of those is where we'll end up. Okay, so let's get back to the ES. Let's look at last week. So last week into a holiday week, how did we do? Generally, didn't really go anywhere. You can see we were a little bit outside of the prior week and closed balanced. In fact, if we go look at the quick sheet, which you can download connected to this video, let's just go look at the quick sheet. You can see that we're coming into the week with just a very, very slight bullish posture, but really, really close. So 56.38, 56.41, very, very balanced with 56.57. So that's the only reason that it's showing, bullish. So it's a new bullish, but if we go below 56.38, that will change very quickly. So 56.38 kind of key for the week as we begin. And then as far as what we're looking for in terms of expected ranges for the week, you can see the window. Here's expected high, expected low, all within the realm of possibility, and we're going to use this as the key reference. So if we're above 56.40, look to push for new all-time highs toward 57.60. If we're below, and in fact, if we get below 55.60, then look for us to push below the weekly expected low. But we're looking for moves from balance, higher or lower, to break out of this range. That's the key idea for the ES this week. The NASDAQ is not dissimilar, okay? Also in a balancing range. For the week, we were down a little bit. However, we're holding. This break from balance is still holding the auction, so just got a little bit of expanded balance area, but you can see we're very, very balanced, looking for moves higher or lower. Weekly expected low here, weekly expected high here. So if we're above 19,600, look for new highs relative to 20K. If we're below 19,600, we're going to look for new weekly lows and ultimately look towards 19K as we get started for the week. Russell started coming into last week with a big move higher, balanced, very tight, looking for a move from the 2210 area. Okay, below that, we'll look toward the keynote here at 2165. Above that, we'd look for a move towards the area around 2273. Let's look at crude. Okay, crude's got a much wider balance area over several weeks. See, we're in this area. We ended the week pushing lower, so from a multi-session bias, as long as we're below 75.25 area, we should be looking for new weekly lows. We start moving away from balance. We'll look for that to continue. Just as a quick reference here, let's go look at the quick sheet. So we started actually on Friday, because that's where these are priced from. We were equal to the 5-day and above the 20-day, so 20 at 73 and 5-day at 75.66. So you can see we here is this node 73.76. So basically now that will probably pull the 20-day back lower here with the 5-day here. So watch for a snapback to pull the 5-day lower before pushing. If we push directly early without pulling the 5-day lower, then look for reaction back this way. But ultimately, if we get below 71.40, doors open for quite a bit lower, back towards like the 68 area. I mean, we've been in multi-week balance, so be watching for the potential for them to significantly move. If that holds, then it's back to the middle, and when it goes back to the middle, it's likely to try to push to the other side. We do have EIA on Thursday this week as opposed to the typical Wednesday, so that's going to be our key reference as we get going. All right, I'm just going to look real quick and see what else is out here. Arval is a little bit better. Gold and silver moving from balance. Let's just take a look at that. So higher for the month, balanced. So 25.43, kind of the key area. over the last, let's go back here and look. Yeah, so here's our 20 days. So here's that balance that it's referencing and attempting to break lower from that. So watch that 2540 area. Below that, you can start clicking off some of these composite references. However, again, going back and looking at the month. So above 2543, I think that's bullish. Below that, you've got 2500, and then failure below 2456 would put us back in this area. So I view this as an attempt to break a balance. You accepted value higher. So early responsive this week before pushing, or this month before pushing in this direction. So keep an eye on 2540. Let's see what else is out there. Of note. So 10 years balanced. Cattle's balanced. So really focused on the equities given the balance. And one last check here as we go look at this just at let's look at the TPO chart. Okay. Again, not paying attention to what happened on the short session on Monday. We had a neutral extreme day on Friday. As long as we're above 5640, should push higher. So if we get below 5640, just kind of pre-IB bias, that opens the door to test the bottom side of this bracket, and below here we can push. But outside day should lead in this direction. Okay, NASDAQ was an inside day on Friday, on Friday. So should be able, watch Friday's high or low. That should telegraph where we're likely to go. The last thing that I'll say, and this is taking us to the Jackson Hole comment about where we are. Okay, we are still honoring the anchored point of control from Jackson Hole. So that goes back here. Here was Powell's comments at Jackson Hole, and notice that we've continued to attempt and fail. Fail. This is NVIDIA's trailing VWAP, and then here's the swing low. Here's the balance that we're at. So I'm going to be watching this reference very carefully as we get into the fall, especially as we get closer and closer to the actual rate cut, okay, which is going to come up in the next couple of weeks. So below, as long as we hold this Jackson Hole VWAP, that leaves this downside vulnerable, especially this low, which would be the key target and expectation if we get a move from balance lower. So just keep that in mind. We've been continuing to fight that, so someone continues to sell that, and that goes back to Jackson Hole, right? So with that, again, short week, we are into fall trading. Watch for RVOL to pick up. So as RVOL picks up, there's going to be better price action, and things won't be as jumpy maybe as they were over the last couple weeks, which is great. Price gets more predictive, and it's a lot more fun. So I hope that's been helpful for you to talk through some of this stuff, and we'll talk to you tomorrow with the next Daily Outlook. Peace.